everybody. Welcome back. I am Kurt Roth, and you found us on the 505 Sports Venture Foundation program, where weekly or somewhat weekly we come to you under the good graces of ProView Network. Thanks to Steve Davis up the stairs, sitting in the big chair. And we're high over Central Avenue, downtown Albuquerque, coming to you each week, hopefully to discuss name, image, and likeness, UNM athletics, maybe some politics or business development in Albuquerque, maybe how the Dodgers are doing, because my producer Adrian from LA has to harp on that almost weekly, or he reminds me. Today might be the first day in 3 months he hasn't worn his Dodger hat. So we're coming to a really special show this week. A little different than normal, but if for all you Lobo fans, you know, as we approach Christmas, end of the year, it's a great time to be a UNM supporter. Football goes to a bowl game against a Big Ten team. Coach Eck is re-upped. If you follow the Journal, you'll note that, or the internet, you'll see that a bunch of Lobo footballers are re-signing. They're coming back next year. Our quarterback, our defensive line, our center. It's going to be a very interesting year going forward. And our basketball team is off to one of the best preseason starts in Lobo history, especially for a team that had no coach, no staff, and no players when in December. So anyway, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. And remember, the Lobo Alliance, 505sports.org, that still exists. We do need your support. It's a constant thing. And check it out, 505sports.org. We'll be back right after this break.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Kurt Roth here, 505 SVF program. We always are limited in our time, so I want to get right to it. I've got two guests who are here today. They've each been on individually in the past, and it's a basketball show. So I've got Jason Tomerlin on one side, Dennis Gromelski right here. You guys may know them from the pit because they're denizens of the pit. They're also, of course, board members of 505 SVF, contributors from the get-go. They help bring Lobo athletes here. They help keep Lobo athletes here. And both of these guys have been instrumental in what we've done up till now and what we will continue to do going forward. All right, let's give, and you'll notice, and if you watch the show, you know it's totally unscripted. We make it up as we go along. So we're hoping not to break some kind of record for lunacy today. Jason, tell us a little bit. What do you do? First, what do you do?
I own a company that buys and sells laboratory and scientific equipment. So I'm just a high-tech junk man, to be honest
All right,
with you.
so you're
Self-employed.
Self-employed Fred Sanford of eBay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I love that.
exactly.
You told me that. All right, now you are notorious. Oh wait, we'll come back to you. Dennis, tell us what you do and what you're in the neighborhood.
A downtown Albuquerque resident and employer. I run Fusion, which is a nonprofit performing arts center, including the only professional theater company in New Mexico.
All right. Awesome. Jason, you grew up, you back and forth, basically a Nebraska kid, University of Nebraska. How the heck you become one of the biggest Lobo fans in the world?
Well, actually, I lived here for 2 years when I was like third and fourth grade, and I kind of fell in love with it. It was actually the time when Jim Valvano and they won the national championship here in the pit. So in third grade, I was overwhelmed. I got to go to one basketball game a year. My grandparents have had tickets in the pit since it opens, so we've had those tickets in the front row right behind the basket for all those years. So I was the only dopey kid that went back to junior high that wore a Lobo shirt. My mom would call me out of school so I could watch basketball when they had those midnight games and all that kind of stuff. So I've been a Lobo fan since, and then came back and always been a Lobo.
All right,
Lobo
before
basketball.
we jump over, you sit in the student section?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, for many years we had the front row and we had all that section during many years, but then they actually moved the students from one section to behind the basket, and I opened the paper one day and it said that our seats were being taken. However, it came up, they said they're going to keep the front row because they were a bunch of crazy fans, and they kept us, and we've been sitting in that front row
and
since.
Now you kind of oversee snake behavior.
Sure, I'm in charge of snake behavior. I'm also in charge of the mop boys and the ball boys and such like that, so I go on the court with them and help with them, all that kind of stuff.
And you have been known to comment on the officiating.
Yes, I've had a few conversations with officials. Every single person, from my grandmother to my mother to my wife to myself, all of us have been threatened by one time to be thrown out of the pit by our officials. So it's kind of part of the...
But you've maintained your seat so far. You have yet to be asked to leave.
I've not been thrown out like somebody else that we might all of us know, Mackenzie. But I've not been thrown out. I've been threatened, but I've never been thrown out.
That's right. It's a reference, in case you don't know, to the great Mackenzie Bishop of Brazo Homes, one of our board members, who, yes, had an incident, got a little heated, and they asked him to leave. All right, Dennis.
Yeah, but Jason also knows, he goes at these refs by first name and knows their families and everything about them. And
Right. It gets under the...
It's not, hey, ref. It's, hey, Tony.
Yeah, exactly.
Wake up. All right, Dennis, New York guy.
Yes.
What the heck are you doing here?
Well,
how'd you get here, and why are you a Lobo fan?
You mentioned Valvano, actually. My dad taught, he was a professor emeritus at Iona College. And, Valvano and Pat Kennedy and Tim Welsh and Rick Pitino. I had opportunity to be kind of like ball boyish at some practices when my dad would bring me to the school. So great guy, by the way, Valvano. But I was coming through town in 1990, and I was one of those that were chosen by the state to never leave again.
Sentence of life.
At least mentally, I would do a lot of traveling, but New Mexico almost immediately became my place I could breathe. And as part of that, one of the absolute things that has kept me in this state has been Lobo basketball, because there's no better way to get through winter than to commune with 18,018, now 15,411, hopefully, fans that are all pulling together. I'm a big community guy. And to be all pulling together in the same direction, particularly in these times, it's really remarkable. I ask anybody that it has never gone to a Lobo game if they notice what happens in town when the Lobos are good. People flying flags on their cars and everybody talking about the Lobos and signs on local businesses, and everybody understands that it's really good for the community.
Yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit here, how the success of the Lobos, the success of the university is just an economic engine that, in our opinion, in my opinion, and I think these guys share it, has been overlooked significantly by the government, underfunded, because when you sell out the pit, people come out dancing. Now, all of a sudden, football, we can have a good football team. We can put 30, 35, 40,000 people in a stadium that basically is the only professional football team, and the Aggies sometime. Congratulations to Mr. Pavia for number 2. It's an economic engine. It's a driver. It's great not only for morale, the good feeling, but just financially.
One of the things that attracted me to what you started here was the fact that, thank God for Mississippi, right? Because that means we're not 50th in everything here in town, and it's really it's a quality of life issue. Yes, it's a business issue, and it's a community issue, right? It's uplifting. But one of the great messages I think that comes out through this is that it's okay for New Mexico to have good things. You can have higher aspirations. It doesn't have to be that same tried and true, because this isn't the way we've always done it, right? That's a solid message, and not enough people are on board with that yet, but I think that message is out there.
Right, we're just New Mexico. That doesn't cut it anymore. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk some Lobo basketball, so hang out. We'll be right back.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
Oh, hey. Hey, wait a minute. I didn't get a countdown here. What's going on? All right, everybody, welcome back. We're just, like I said, we may be banned after this show's recorded. All right, so I've got Jason T, Dennis G, diehard Lobo fans, local business people. We members of the board of 505 SVF. And as I said, they're sick basketball fans. So I don't know if Adrian can forgive me for giving the Dodgers noise. Can you post that picture we have lined up for our audience? Yeah, look at that. Now that shot looks like the Mo, Larry, and Curly right there is taken as the game ends last week in Richmond, Virginia at VCU. And where we are, right behind the bench. If you watch that game, you know it was a life and death struggle. 10-point lead turned into a tie score in a matter of seconds. And then down the stretch, it was like, here, you take it, no, you take it. And the Lobos prevailed. So there we are, going absolutely berserk at the end of the game. And these guys who are here today, they travel on their own dime, at their own cost and expense, not only financially, but time-wise. So what's that about, Jason?
I think it's because we're nuts. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I had asked my wife if she wanted to go to Virginia, and she was like, oh, yeah, that'd be great if we go out to eat. And I said, no, we're going to watch a basketball game for 2.5 hours, and we're coming back. So, I mean, it's 8 to 10 hours.
She didn't go.
No, she didn't go because of that. So it's like 8 or 10 hours out there to watch the basketball for 2 hours. And like Dennis usually gets up first thing in the morning and fly back. because we have businesses and companies to run, but we love it. It's like being there in person just does something for our souls. And the three of us have just had a wonderful time these last 2 or 3 years being on the road together and being able to enjoy basketball together. And it's been great fun. We've had great success, but we've also just had an opportunity to really get to know these kids and the team, and we just
Right.
we
That's
love
part
it.
of it, right?
Yeah,
the kid
absolutely.
knowing these guys.
Yeah, it's a through line to the season. Now for me personally, it's not about reading an article that Grammer puts out in the paper with great information, but you don't get to know these players. On the chat rooms and things, people are very overreactive and reactive quickly to, from game to game. They don't look at the longer picture. And I've been saying on there since the beginning, like, there's nothing not to like about these kids. They're all really, really good kids, and you can get behind them. And people have been so gun shy in terms of not knowing what to expect. We didn't, no players back, right? Like, what is this team? Oh, Division II players, yada. I think now we're really starting to see what these players are, and going on road trips for me is a part of that. It's getting to see the import of where the Lobos fit in the scale of the Mountain West, what other fan bases are like, what other venues are like. I have a couple that I like and a couple that I don't like very well, and it makes going to the Mountain West tournament, and when it all comes together, you get the big picture. You see from the ground level, how Tim Miles is reacting and the freaking things that he does, like to beat us on his home gymnastics court, right? It's wonderful. It's past the winners wonderfully.
All right, well, two things. Dennis mentioned first, and I'll start with you, Jason. Jeff Grammer, pretty good writer.
Jeff Grammer's a great writer. He's just Jeff Grammer. He's got a great personality and all that kind of stuff. I think he's good for Lobo basketball and stuff. But I mean, the reality is that he whines a little bit about not being able to go into practice and stuff like that. We've been able to enjoy some of those things. So I tease him a little bit that he doesn't get to see as much as I get to see. So he's the beat writer. But I think we've seen good basketball all the way from July. And like Dennis has said, we've been waiting for this product to come out on the court. Now we're seeing it on the court. So it's great fun to watch. So
good writer?
I think his coverage, he hopped on that whole video thing and social media a lot earlier than a lot of other people. I think it's really effective. I think it's grown our fan base quite a bit, but I still have a hard time. He's an Aggie. I mean, it's tough. It's tough to get over.
I forgive him for that, but yeah, he does done the social media, so there was a reticence in the past before Jeff Grammer in the offseason to talk about recruiting and player development, just because online they'll mention 50 players and 2 will wind up coming here. But he's really reduced it to a pretty good journalistic approach. He mentions people who are interested. What I'm amazed at is he follows other people's social media.
Yeah.
And he's on top of what this guy says. A good job for Grammer.
I think Jeff's the kind of guy that were he to leave for whatever reason, it would be noticeable.
yeah.
Oh, no doubt about it.
100%.
I don't think people realize, Dennis spent a lot of his early part of his life in the East Coast, and I'm a New York City guy, and we grew up with the press, the great kind of reporting. I don't think people even now realize how good the reporting is in the Journal. The only paper, Rick Wright is still really good. They're on top of Lobo athletics. High school with Yoda says, I can't understand how he does it. It's just incredible. Subscribe to the damn Journal. Let's keep local news going. All right. We're going to come back we still got a minute left in this session. Dennis mentioned good, bad fan base. Favorite place on the road?
My favorite place on the road is Utah State by far. It's the best environment that we go to, and the worst one to me is Nevada. I usually think it's Nevada. They're kind of cruel and mean, so that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know about you.
Yeah, boy, I'm kind of happy not to have to make the trek to Logan, Utah. Yeah, it's a very active fan base. It's also 8 sections of students in the fan base,
Right.
where you know that they have to take freshman intro to basketball cheering classes, right? And I call it the Stepford kids, like the old movie The Stepford Wives. Yeah, it's creepy, but it's fun because they'll get into it with you.
Well, we're going to take a break, and we'll go back to Logan last year for a few minutes before we start the status of Lobo basketball today. So we're going to take a minute or two here. I hope Adrian lets me know when we're coming back, so I'm not talking about my Christmas list. So stay with us. We'll be back in a second or two or 30.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
This is a place steeped in tradition. We celebrate our culture, our land, and our game. Tradition so unique, it's impossible to ignore its lasting legacy. A legacy of work, of success. This year, December 27th, we celebrate one of New Mexico's great legacies. The 20th annual Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Be there to celebrate one of our state's great traditions, where college football legacy reigns supreme. The Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Legacy in every play.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. We've got a few more minutes to go on this show. I got Jason and Dennis here from our board, diehard Lobo fans. We just saw a little ad for the New Mexico Bowl, the 27th. I know everybody's going to be excited. A lot of you will go to Phoenix for the 26th to see the Lobos play another Big Ten team in Minnesota. But don't forget the New Mexico Bowl. Go. It's going to be, I've already seen the weather 2 weeks out. It's going to be beautiful. Go. Suntan lotion. Let's support New Mexico. Our buddy Jeff Symbieta does an incredible job there. Let's get out to the New Mexico Bowl on the 27th. All right. You guys both talked about Logan. I have to tell you, one of my favorite places, because it's the weirdest basketball place in the world, is Wyoming.
Yeah.
At the gym, the floor is weird. No one's there, 99%. I think I've seen one good crowd there in 20 years. You can hear the sneakers, and bad stuff happens all the time there. But last year in Logan, they have a history of this cheer they do at the end of the game. And somehow they lost by almost 20 points to the Lobos. And the cheer happened. What happened?
Yeah, we were having a conversation with some of the students in the student section, and we were going back and forth like we always do. It's all good nature and good fun, but we were winning, and we knew we were going to win. And they do a cheer that they do. It's very famous that they say winning team. They point at their team, and then they point at the losing team, which is usually the team that's on the road,
which is right next to the student
right next
section.
to the students,
basically
and,
in the student.
Yes,
section.
and it's a choreographic thing, and so I turned to my wife, and then I turned to Dennis, and I'm like, "Are we gonna do it?" and my wife was like, No. And Dennis and I stood up and we started going winning team, losing team, winning team. And the last thing we didn't understand was they were filming us, and it hit Twitter, and then they thought I was the athletic director, and they thought we were misbehaving. So it became a big deal and all that kind of stuff. But it was great. It was actually great fun. It was to be able to kind of stick it to them as much as they they sent a lot of stuff towards us, and was able to kind of shut them up by winning by 20.
Wow.
Yeah, especially because the year before was the flight incident when you guys didn't make it out. And I had to sit through them. They barely beat us at the end of the game. Sit through them cutting down the nets at the end. That sucked.
Well, one of the things about that game, while you guys are doing winning team, losing team, our good buddy True Washington, who's doing a great job down in Miami in Coral Gables, did a little dance. And they all started to scream, "Sit down, sit down." And Coach Patino stood up, pointed at True, and said, "You bleep the bleep. Bleep and dance." And it was like one of the coolest things ever. All right, so we've got about 4 or 5 minutes left this season. Let's start with you, Jason. Biggest surprise on the court?
It has to be the freshmen. I mean, I saw them in practice. I thought they were the best players between Jake and Uriah and Tomislav, but they've been incredible on the court. I'm not sure that Jake might not be first team already, but they've been the biggest surprise. I think the team coming together and the success is a huge surprise. So, I mean, that's been great.
Dennis?
Maturity level. You can hear that these older kids are coming in, and you don't know how a 23, 24-year-old is going to mesh with an 18-year-old kid, and they're doing an amazing job of it. I think Jake his maturity levels and basketball smarts are off the charts, and I had no problem. I knew what was coming with Uriah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched at least 3 times now that it's on YouTube, the game where he played against Arenas' kid.
Right.
And they both went off for like 50-plus points back and forth, and Uriah beat him, right? And you knew what kind of athlete, his hops, his athleticism. So it was great to see his dad actually in Richmond as well.
His dad travels. His dad will. His dad won't be here. We talked to him after the game. He won't be for San Jose State, but he'll be up in Boise. The dunk, the inbounds dunk yesterday, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Guy's 5'9", maybe 5'10".
Yeah, maybe.
And he was.
No,
it was just unbelievable.
No, it's insane to see somebody that size be able to run an out-of-bounds play for a dunk. I mean, it was incredible. You knew it was coming. We haven't seen it yet, but we've seen a couple times where he's gone crazy to the rim. So.
All right, so we're in what Steve Alford used to call the middle segment. We had the non-conference, the conference, and the postseason. So it's too early, I think, to say disappointments. I don't want to say there's disappointments, but what is something you thought might happen that hasn't among the personnel, or is there anyone you're waiting to see come out and really play more or better?
No, I think there's a couple players that we hope that will come around. I think a little bit with Kevin and stuff. You see his talent level and such. I hope he's a great kid. When you talk to him, he's really smart, and I think he has a bright future. I don't think it's quite fit into exactly where he needs to be on this team. But I think you see it over and over. It's every night it's somebody else stepping up. I mean, we kind of thought Chol was going to be the main leader of this team, and he's the 5th leading scorer, and that's a great thing because he can go off for 30 any night. So we're seeing a lot of this is a true team that every night there's somebody else doing something special, and then you have Luke and Chris kind of holding the glue together. So
well, I just look at the development, very quick development of JT Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, a 7'2" kid who goes both ways and has a nice touch. I mean, that's never a bad thing to have. Yeah.
Yeah, JT looks like a real contributor. And as you know, if you watch a game yesterday, Sunday, you saw Tomislav go down holding what may be a hamstring. Does that take a week? Clearly, he won't be full speed, we don't think, next Saturday, so JT's role will be even bigger.
Yes.
And I think that's a big surprise. Early on, he came in June, and basically he was set aside so much at Iowa State. I don't think he even practiced that much. He wasn't in the rotation. Just so you know, Lobo fans, I was told yesterday that so far, from June till the current date, JT Rock has missed 1/2 of one practice and has made every voluntary shoot around every day when they've been scheduled. So the kid puts the work in. He does what he needs to do. All right, quickly, record, Mountain West.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think they come in second or third, and think they're probably, what do we play now? 18 games now?
20 games.
20 games. Yeah. I would imagine we'll probably be like 15-5, 14-6. I mean, we'll probably win a couple games that we probably shouldn't. We may lose a game or two. But if we can protect home court and win half the games on the road, I think we're right in chance for a tournament, opportunity again.
I like 16-4, barring health concerns.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. I got 17-3 in a Mountain West Championship in Vegas. Want to thank you guys coming on. Jason, Dennis, everybody else, 505 SVF. Hang in there. Keep it going. 505sports.org. The future's so bright, we're going to put shades on if we could find them. Anyway, we'll see you next week. Thanks for being here. Cool.
This is a place steeped in tradition. We celebrate our culture, our land, and our game. Tradition so unique, it's impossible to ignore its lasting legacy. A legacy of work, of success. This year, December 27th, we celebrate one of New Mexico's great legacies. The 20th annual Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Be there to celebrate one of our state's great traditions, where college football legacy reigns supreme. The Isleta New Mexico Bowl. Legacy in every play.